and I'm grateful you're all here. We're going to, that's our call to order. We do post videos of our meetings on our YouTube page called Beachside Neighborhood Watch B&W. We don't have a code enforcement person here tonight, and normally we do have a police captain, but on Sunday, Captain Tricia Jones was reassigned, and the new police captain is Kim Gernert. And since she was so new, she's just overwhelmed. She'll be here next month. So we don't have a police report this month. So we get to just zip right along.
Short meeting.
Short business part of the meeting. So we have, our balance hasn't changed in our general fund. In our barbecue fund, we spent $32, we got $32 from our last Pass the Hat. We spent $25.30. We have a total of $3,861.88 in our barbecue fund, so we are not passing the hat for the barbecue fund tonight. We sent out, we owed Jared $61.25 because he put us back up on Sunbiz to comply with the Sunbiz regulations, and the IRS taxes are filed. So next, thank you notes were written to the commissioners who donated money for the barbecue fund. That's how we got together, ended up with, I think $3,000. It was great. And then the Lakes family, because the Lakes family always comes and they help. They're from Ohio. I think they come and they help at the barbecue all the time, and then they give us a check for $100. So we're very grateful for that. Next, we're on to announcements. Okay, the first announcement we're going to have is from Joyce Agar, who is Seniors versus Crime, but I don't think that's her announcement tonight. But it can be. Okay.
Hi, Joyce from Seniors versus Crime through the Florida Attorney General's office. I'll talk a little bit about that too, because we have some upcoming events. But this is the one I really wanted to talk about, and it was in the Our Lady of Lourdes Bulletin, but it's a Law Enforcement Appreciation Service. It's going to be at Living Faith World Missionaries, May 14th at 5 p.m. I'll just read the little blurb that they had on their website, if that's okay. Join Living Faith World Ministries for our powerful annual Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. This unique community event is dedicated to honoring the men and women who serve and protect our neighborhoods in Daytona Beach and throughout the Volusia and Flagler County. This is not your typical service. The entire program is performed and led by active and retired law enforcement personnel, including judges, officers, attorneys, and local officials. It is a day of unity, gratitude, and spiritual encouragement. So I haven't been to this one, but I'll be there. So if you can, please come. I've got little flyers that I'll stick up over here. I also will put up some, the Florida Department of Business and Regulation, Professional Regulation, put out a hurricane guide. I'll put some of those out. Daytona Beach has theirs, but they don't have their 2026 yet, but it still has some good information in it. When they come out with 2026, I'll put those out. Of course, I'll have some of these out. I have from the Attorney General's office after the storm, because we're getting into hurricane season. It has Ashley Moody, that's not our Attorney General, it's James Utmeyer, but there still has information. That's not, okay, just real quick, because this will be before the next meeting, which is going to be June 4th, right? Okay. On June 3rd, Seniors versus Crime will be on the Daytona radio show, which is 106.3. Yeah, and that's on, they have a Facebook thing, that'll be live. So Tony and I will be on that. It's 11:45, 12:50. I'll post it on our Facebook page. We have library events coming up, the different libraries in Volusia County. I'll post those on there too. That's it.
Thank you.
All right. Get my tongue.
Thank you, Joyce.
You're welcome.
Thank you. There's always a lot of information out there and a lot of stuff that you can do, and it's hard to keep track of it all, so I'm grateful that people like Joyce come to our meetings and keep us informed on that stuff. We do have, I think I was passing them out, but we have refrigerator magnets for B&W in case anybody needs one to give to a friend or as a reminder. Just let me know after the meeting, we'll give you one. The First Step Shelter Board meeting that was scheduled for Monday has been canceled. Beachside Redevelopment Board meeting is coming up next Wednesday. We do have a Beachside Redevelopment Board member here, and Laura Murphy. So it's a worthwhile meeting to go to if you want to know what's going on at the beachside. And then we have the 2 city commission meetings coming up, one May 20th and another one June 3rd. So there's a survey online called Shape the Future of Our Community. You can find it on the city website, and we'll be sending out, you can find it on the city website. We have a post on Facebook with it, in B&W News, and we'll be sending out an email with the link. But it's a lot of questions on how do you want the priorities set for the future. So that would be a good survey to take. Also pushing the city app, which we do every meeting, DB City Connect. It's a great little interactive way to find out what's on the calendars, what's on agendas, what's happening. So if you have a smartphone, look for DB City Connect and explore that option. You can report code violations or just concerns about like a traffic light is out or whatever. You can have that there with the C-Click Fix. Midtown Music Concert Series, there's going to be one May 30th. And now we want to thank all the people who make this meeting possible in this location. So that would be Ted, Vern, Sharon, Lady of Lords Veterans, Father Phil, Hillary, and her crew, and
You.
and Greg, and Tammy.
And you.
So we're, no, well, I'm just on hold. But thank you all, thanks very much. Really appreciate you giving space. And I want to acknowledge our elected officials who are here. That would be our guest speaker, Jeff Brower, Ken Strickland, City Commissioners on 2, and Monica Paris, Zone 1. And we have a candidate for City Commission Zone 3, Steve Miller. Very good at forgetting people, so did I forget anyone? All right, miracle. Okay, and this meeting is not just, it's possible just because there's a great board of directors. We've had 3 people step up and say they'd like to join the board, so I'm very excited. Maybe we'll expand the board, but I want to thank the board members. And all of them are here tonight, so that would be Vern, Ted, you can put your hands up, stand up. Vern, Ted Hordecki, Sue Odina, Jared Puffpower, he's not here. Okay, so there's 2 people not here. Kelly's not here, and Ken Strickland is on our board. Thank you, Ken. And now, our guest speaker, Jeff Brower, and we're just gonna turn this over to Jeff and do some Q&A. As he's willing to do that, I'm gonna ask that if you have a question, make sure it's a question and not a long polemic, please. So, thank you. Thank you, Jeff.
Have fun.
Welcome.
All right, and I've already been told not to move once I get up there.
No, you can light join this. Ken can track.
Kids are one that told me not
If
to
he
move.
walks out of frame, he's just out of frame.
Oh, okay.
I'm always out of frame. It's good to be here again. Good to see you, several of the people that I see all over the county. Most of you I don't. It's always good to get out in the public and see people who care about their neighborhood, and their county, and their beach. So I want to start off with something that's a little bit, it's going to sound a little bit shocking, but then we'll get to your questions. I've got just a couple things I want to mention real quick, but I'm really concerned as I stand before you tonight, and having looked around the landscape of our county and our state. I had several meetings today on the beach and just on the county in general. I'm just gonna tell you that your quality of life is going to deteriorate over the next few years unless we start approaching government differently and vote differently and get more people like you involved. How's that for an opening statement? Not what you left your home for to come in here tonight, but I can't just give you happy talk. Every community has concerns and issues and challenges that they face, right, sir? Looking at my Midtown friend here, he deals with it every month at your meetings. We all have challenges that we face, and what we really need more of is groups like this that come out and want to find out what can we do to save, preserve our quality of life in our neighborhood and in this place that we love. I'm gonna tell you why I think we have great challenges. And I hope that as we go along, I'll also give you some reasons to be hopeful. But that's gonna depend on you. I've been to this group, where did Ann go? Oh, I've been to this group numerous times, especially when I was running for election. I really appreciate that, because this is where you meet the grassroots people that actually get out and I call you sneezers. You go out and infect other people with the information that you have learned. You're a sneezer. You got elected by being a sneezer. You went out and told everybody everything. Nobody on that video knows who I'm talking to. This is kind of fun. Most of the, so let me back up a second and tell you my premise of why I have concerns, because it's what I deal with most often in government, and that is how we're growing, how we're developing. Should we grow? Should we develop? Everybody says, well, you can't stop growth. I disagree with that. I think we have to stop growth and change the way we're growing into a pattern that is acceptable to you and your property rights. And then you're going to hear, I hear all the time, every elected official hears it. Well, you already have yours. You moved here from who knows where and built a house or bought a house, and now you want to prevent. Jen, it's so nice to see you. She's a disruptor in the best possible way. Jenny's a friend, I think, of a lot of the people in here. She's one of the kinds of people that I like to talk to, like all of you, because she's engaged in her community. So there's going to be some growth. How should we grow in order to protect your quality of life? Here's the problem that I see. Several people are videoing this, so this will come back and bite me. Every time I do this, one of my fellow council members plays it at the next council meeting. But that just helps get the message out. Florida politics is controlled by Florida developers and developers all over the country that want to develop here. I don't know who built your home. Maybe you built yours yourself or expanded it. And home builders they're an asset to our community. Everybody wants to own a home. Home builders are just like any other business. They provide a service that we choose to buy. But the way that we're developing, not a home, one home here, one home there, but by buying land that was never intended to be built upon, never intended to be developed, like most of our agricultural land that often gets the zoning change and the land use change instead of being farmland or just the fallow ground that we need. City councils, county councils, all the way up the chain in government will just change the zoning. Ignore what the planners have said, change the zoning, change the land use, and say where this property was zoned to have maybe 4 houses per acre. Where I live, it's 1 house, or 4 houses per 10 acre. Where I live, it's 2 houses per 10 acres. Most of the land around me is 1 house per 10 acres because it's intensive agriculture. Most of that is just pasture land. But you know what's happening is that the farmers love to farm and they love the land. I'm a farmer, my family's a farmer. Right now it's, never mind, you don't need to know about me. We love the land and we protect the land. But what's happening with most farmers is that as their children grow, if their children grow up, they don't want to farm. They want to do something else, and that's fine, that's good. So dad gives the daughters, the sons, the land, and the first thing they do is put it up for sale. What's the highest value of that property? Pardon? To develop it. Yeah, let's change the zoning, and we have a really good legal firm in town that's really good at doing that, in getting city councils and county councils to change zoning, change what everybody thought they could rely on when they bought here, and put 24 houses per acre. You know, go down Williamson, might be 32, might be 48 houses per acre in some of these high rises. Does that property owner have a right to do that? Because property rights are essential in our republic. It's one of the foundations of our republic. And I stand solidly for your property rights and your ability to do what you want to do with your property until it adversely affects the people that live beside you on either side and all around you. And that's where we're running off the rail right now, is that we will change zoning, land use regulations without any regards to how it affects all of your property rights and what you thought you were buying into when you bought in your neighborhood. So instead of whatever the zoning is in your neighborhood, I've just heard stories about how Daytona just got an unfortunate report last night from the Army Corps of Engineers that they're flooding. Sorry, nothing we can do about it. They're going to keep studying it. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to talk about that because you two know a lot more about it. I wasn't even at the meeting. But I did hear from people in the public while it was going on, calling me and saying, do you hear what's happening? I didn't hear. I worked till 8:30 last night, so I didn't get to go. But what happens now is a developer comes and has land that was never intended to be a giant housing development. And they're not coming in and building one home, they're building hundreds and even thousands of homes. There are thousands of homes in single developments that are already in the books around the area. So if you want to have a say in that, I'm sorry, I don't have a shortcut and an easy way for you. But you're going to have to get more involved in local politics, just speaking to your city commissioners and your county commissioners and your state representatives and your state senators, because it goes all the way to Tallahassee. Tallahassee is awash in money from developers. That's who gets elected. And in the local level, it's largely the same thing. I don't know how Ken got elected without developer money. Because he told the truth when he ran. I told the truth when I ran, so nobody developers offered me any money. And I don't think developers are evil. I think they're motivated by what motivates all of us, the ability to make a good living. Where I differ is that I don't want to make a good living at the expense of everybody that lives around me and come in and change it. No neighborhood can say I'm never going to change. There should be incremental changes, but no neighborhood should be wiped out by the changes around it. And I tell you, I'm taking a long time to say this, but it's very personal with me. I have walked through too many homes of people that are my age and up into they're at the end of their life in the 90s, and everything that they own, and young families with kids, everything that they own is sitting out by the curb after storms, not just hurricanes, but heavy rainfalls in Florida. We are flooding in areas that never flooded before. And people are getting wiped out. They can't get flood insurance. They can't get insurance. And it's criminal, in my opinion. And we owe each other the respect of protecting your property rights, not just the development's property rights. So, what can you do? There is a petition on the table. This is easy. This is one thing that I'm going to ask you to do tonight because it's tied directly to you. Am I choking you? It's tied directly to your health. Here's the state of Florida's answer to development that's depleting our water supply, and it does happen. The aquifer, everybody says, we're never going to run out of water. Just look at all the springs. There's thousands of gallons of water pumping out of all of our springs. Yes, the ones that are still pumping, some have stopped. Some have actually reversed flow. Some have just big mud puddles. That should be the canary in the cage for all of us. We should be looking, well, wait a minute, maybe God's given us a chance to react here, or to act instead of react. So it affects the amount of water that we have, is because we can pump and have pumped enough water out of our aquifer, like right now during a drought, that the water drops so much. The way our aquifer works is that there's a layer of salt water way down deep. On top of that is our layer of fresh water. And when that fresh water is deep enough, it puts enough pressure on the salt water that it doesn't come up and get into our drinking water. But when you reduce that to a certain point, the salt water pushes right through it, and then Ormond Beach has saltwater intrusion. Silver Glen Springs, way out in West Volusia, not anywhere near the ocean, well, 40, 50 miles, is being choked to death by saltwater intrusion because the lens of fresh water has dropped enough. So now all the native seagrasses are dying, and the fish, the manatees, everything that depends on that, they're dying or disappearing. We have problems, and we have signs of what those problems are. Now we just have to act on them. And the way to act is to regulate how much water we take out and what we do with that water, how we use it. And then right along with that, with how much water do we take out, a lot of that water goes in your shower, goes down your sinks, and a lot of it goes down your toilet. How many here have ever used a toilet? I'm not going to ask you how many times a day, because that differs on some days, doesn't it? That's even a bigger problem right now. The elected people, the smartest people in government, frankly, don't know what to do with sewage water anymore. So they came up with a brilliant plan. Let's take this sewage water and just clean it up enough to where we can give it back to the people to drink it. Or, if that's not gross enough, or because we're depleting the amount of water that we have in our aquifer, we'll just pump it in the aquifer. Now remember, it's cleaned up sewage water. I heard the other night in Ormond Beach that they don't like us to say that. They like us to say it's purified water. It's purified poop water. I don't care, honestly, I don't care how much they purify it. It's a lie to say you can take that sewage water and clean it up enough with all the harsh chemicals that it needed and give it back to you and tell you to drink it and that your health is going to be secure. I'm not willing to go. I'm not making that vote for all of your lives, and you should. Now, the other thing that we hear, I'm getting off track, I'll remember where I am, is if you were an astronaut, you'd be drinking your own urine water. Yeah, if I was an astronaut and it depended on my life, I would drink my own cleaned up sewage water. But I ain't drinking yours. And that doesn't mean I don't like you, but it means we shouldn't want to have to do that. We shouldn't want And we should work against growing to a point that that's our only option, is to clean up sewage water and put it in our aquifer before we run out of clean drinking water, so that we can keep right on developing right past the clean water line. And so what the state of Florida has said is that this cleaned up sewage water is now an approved alternate water supply. Has to be cleaned up. The only way that you can clean up sewage water enough to not have any impurities in it has not been designed yet. It hasn't been invented. You can use reverse osmosis, and you get a home machine. For every gallon of clean water, you get 7 gallons of a toxic waste. That, what do you do with it? You got to dispose it. Where is it disposed? It just goes out in a yard somewhere. Well, on a city, when you're dealing with millions and millions of gallons of water, you have this toxic sludge through whatever the purification means is, and then all of the chemicals that are added to it to try and clean it up. That's what you're drinking. That's what will go into the aquifer if we allow it. But this toxic sludge that comes out of reverse osmosis gets injected also into the aquifer. Now here's what they say, and here's how I know this, and so all of you that doubt me can look this up. I went to a meeting, not to hear this, I went to a meeting down in Stuart, Florida. My sister lives there. There was a company there that has a mechanical way of harvesting weeds and then creating, right on the barge, creating a fertilizer out of it. And I went down to hear them. I thought, this is intriguing. Well, the city council had an emergency vote that came up. A few months before, they voted to spend millions of dollars on a reverse osmosis system. And somebody forgot to say, oh, we're going to have millions of gallons of toxic waste too. What do we do with it? And that's what this meeting was about. Here's all the waste that we have. Here's the clean water. Here's the waste. What do we do with it? We've got a really good plan. We're going to drill a deep well, and we're going to put it right below our drinking water aquifer into the deep aquifer. Still water, still good water that we're going to need someday. And it's just going to stay right there. It's never going to move. Folks, that defies physics, but it doesn't happen in Florida. Our aquifer, the U.S. Geological Survey, tells us that all the pressure under our aquifers is all up, and all of that water is moving all the time. Usually it's moving towards the ocean. In West Volusia, where there is no ocean, it just moves to the neighbors. But all that water is moving. So you park it under there. I've even seen graphics from the city of Deltona that says this is where we're going to park the water. And then they show a layer of water around this dirty water. And you know what they call it? The confining layer of water. How many of you went to elementary school? How many of you ever had to do an experiment with dirty water? If you take a glass of water and you put 10 drops of black food coloring in it, does it stay right there? Does that confining layer of water hold?
No.
What happens to it? The water becomes gray. And that's exactly what happens in our aquifer. So it's not safe. And we shouldn't. Now, South Florida has already ruined their aquifer. They're just pumping raw sewage right into it because they say we can't drink it anyway, it's too salty, it's too messed up. That's our future. That's our future unless we stop it here. The city of Daytona Beach and the city of Edgewater are the two bravest municipalities in Volusia County right now. They voted. They can't vote to stop it. They can't say, no, we're not going to let it happen. Well, they could, and they did locally with an ordinance. But they said, what we can do is trust y'all enough to let you vote on it. And so now, between now and November, at the general election, you're going to hear all the people that come out and say why I'm crazy, that this is fine for you to drink cleaned up sewage water, and we should just continue building right on way past the clean water line. I thank Father Phil for letting us use God's property here tonight. Many of you in this room are believers. I'm a believer, I'm a Christian. And I believe that one of my chief responsibilities is to be a good steward of the earth that God has given us and the environment that we have. And it's about time that we do that, because saying for the sake of dollars, for the sake of being the largest state in the union, and a lot of mayors, a lot of governors like to go to conventions to be able to say, I'm from the fastest growing county in blah, blah state. You know, it's a head rush. I'd like to say, I'm from the most carefully developed county in Florida, that we care about the people that we live here. We care about this piece of land that we rent before we go. And so I'm going to ask you to sign this petition. Why? Because even though 2 cities out of 11 have done it, and we're hoping that other cities will come along, and I think they will, as word gets out, as they hear from people like you. This will help us if it doesn't happen. I don't want Daytona Beach to be the only city, and Edgewater be the only city where you can go and a business can go and say, I don't have to drink cleaned up sewage water. But if they put it in their aquifer, they're not going to be able to say that anyway, because the water moves. There's one water. It's all of our water, and we need to protect it like all of our water. So I'm asking you to sign this. We have an immediate problem in Florida that in probably everybody's drinking water, there's PFAS chemicals. Those are the forever chemicals. Comes from it's in everything. It's in plastics, in fire foam. It's in everything. And so then it gets into water, it gets into fish. We need to reduce it. We need to start getting rid of it. If they put cleaned up sewage water into our aquifer, it's going to have all of the PFAS chemicals that it had before they started. And it just makes it worse. The city of Deltona, I'm not picking on Deltona, but they have a problem there. They're already so far above the allowable limit of PFAS in their drinking water that nobody should drink it. But it's not against the law. It's not against the law until I think 2033. And then they got from now and then to do something about it. As does Volusia County's water, as does everybody's water. We all have a little bit because it's everywhere. So we're all going to have to do something. Please sign this petition tonight and let's start the process of not making it worse. It's in our aquifer. There's a little bit there. Let's not dump more of it there. And let's not say we're using reverse osmosis, that's going to solve the problem, and then put hyper amounts of PFAS, of every kind of chemical you can think of. Somebody sent me an email this week. Somebody posted in your group, Greg, that they're testing water, and one of the medicinal things, pharmaceutical compounds that they're finding is, what's the right word? It's abortion
drugs.
It doesn't break down. It goes through the filtering. And then, I don't know if this is true or not, but the writer's saying, so let's look at the amount of miscarriages that we have now. Do you want to risk drinking that? Sign the petition. Take 10 home with you and walk your street. Ask your neighbors, ask your family to sign this and say, I want this stopped. I'm not willing to develop my state, my city, my county, right past this safe, right past the clean water line. And then let's focus on, all right, the damage that's already done, how do we reverse that? How do we get PFAS out of our water before we drink it? Because you can do it at your home with a carbon block filter, and then you got to figure out, what do I do with a carbon block? Okay. I'd already told Ann about the trolley, so I'm not going to talk about that. Ann wants a trolley on the beach side.
We know.
And, And it came up at the last county council meeting, and the whole council wanted it, but none of us wanted to come out of the general fund because nobody, I shouldn't have said that first, I should have asked you this. How many people, raise your hand if you love property taxes?
I like government being paid for.
Okay. So, there was 4. How many people hate property taxes? Apparently everybody else. Jenny and I are the only one. Government does have to be paid for, and I don't like that that's the way. I kind of believe when I was a kid that a man or a woman's home is their castle, but you don't own it. If you think you do, just stop paying your property taxes, and somebody will buy the tax deed from you and tell you what you can do with your home. But I do want, so I'm not on the bandwagon of eliminating property taxes because I haven't heard anybody say, how are we building your roads? How are we cleaning the water? How are we providing, well, schools are protected. The state of Florida says you can't do anything to schools, we're setting them aside.
And it's a giant tax break for the richest people. Because if you got a $10 million
No.
house and you pay no taxes compared to the guy.
You know what? It's probably not gonna be that.
$1,000 house.
It's because right now, the only proposals that I have seen, it's gonna hurt business and the rich the most, because everybody that has a homesteaded house, you're safe. Will reduce your taxes a little bit. If you have a second home, or if you own a business, then we're gonna have to raise your taxes there to pay for all the money. See, they're really not talking about eliminating a tax, we're just talking about moving it somewhere else to where it doesn't bother you, and you'll reelect us again, because man, we got rid of property taxes, and we put it on B. Braun, who's now got to deal with making their medical products with cleaned up sewage water. It's kind of crazy when you think about it. Or whatever, we need more businesses in Volusia County to provide high-paying jobs for all of our kids and grandkids. I got a bunch of them. I can't keep up with my grandkids now, with how many. Well, I can't keep up with them either.
You wanna talk
So-
about a trolley?
Pardon?
You wanna talk about a trolley?
Oh, yeah, how we pay for the trolley.
Okay. Yeah, everybody loves the idea of a trolley. I like the idea of a St. Augustine model trolley, but the riders pay for it. I think the idea here, what everybody wants is a free trolley that runs up and down A1A, Troy Kent said, all the way from Ormond by the Sea to Ponce Inlet. New Smyrna's on their own. Can't get a trolley across the inlet. But nobody knows how to pay for it. There was a company that came, they sat in my office and talked to me. They wanted to have a trolley. They didn't go all the way to Ormond by the Sea. They just went down the Ormond Beach, Daytona Beach Shores, and Daytona. They couldn't get, they thought that the hotel motel industry and the merchants on A1A would support it. Nobody did. Nobody was interested. And actually, the hotel motel industry, I kind of don't blame them, because all of them have their own restaurants. They have tiki bars. They're trying to keep people there. Spend all your money here. We don't want you to get on a trolley and go down the street to somebody else. You know, it works in other areas. It works in St. Augustine. We're going to have to figure out how to pay for it. I'm going to open it up to questions now, with the first one being Ann.
Well, I'm going to violate my own rule here.
You're going to make a statement instead of a question.
Thank you.
Is anybody surprised?
No. Manatee County runs a free trolley, but they do it through their bus system. So they have the economy of scale, where they own this, it's the same style bus that they use all the time. And we could, if the county council really is interested in a trolley, they should be trying to force Votran to incorporate something like that. And then it could be paid for on a fair-by-fair basis. But it's something that Votran can run. And if the county council forces them to have the will. And I think that to say that it has to pay for itself, or it's gotta be the St. Augustine model, is just not viable. And it needs to be a 5-year experiment. It can't just be 6 months. And the other piece is Manatee County, and I have to update the figures, but last time I looked, it cost $1.4 million a year, and for free. But they were moving 500,000 people. Imagine if we had the churn of 500,000 people. They were moving residents and tourists. It would revitalize our businesses. So next time it comes up, try to get them to force Votran to take it over. And
Well,
now,
actually-
I'm done with my point.
It actually,
Thank you.
it actually came up in the context of a Votran discussion. Votran gave us a report and told us, well, we gotta reduce spending. And we've been doing that for probably 6 years now, going from the huge buses down to smaller buses where you actually call them, they come pick you up, it's called VoRide. We still have a few big buses. I used to see them all the time during the campaign doing sign waves. The bus would go by and I'd count, is that one person? I mean,
One of them was me.
they're, with your bike inside.
No more bike, I can't keep it in repair.
Okay.
There's no bike shops in our neighborhoods anymore.
Really? Start one.
No.
You're a businesswoman. So it came up in the context of Votran, but because there was so much interested in it, it won't die. So your dream may come true. We don't
I know
know
where to get the money.
how yet.
We had a
Take
free
it out of
trolley.
the excess.
Okay, hold on.
We had a free trolley down here and I thought it was, yeah, a long time ago.
Long time ago, yeah.
That was just
I remember
the
it.
day.
Jenny,
We waste so much money removing vegetation that should not be removed. We are compromising our drought flood buffer, those things.
With
Which is like
chemicals.
the same point. We should not be mowing on 45-degree slopes next to highways. We should not be mutilating the palm trees. We should not be removing the canopy. Like, we waste so much money cutting things and putting miniature lawns.
crepe murder?
Crepe murder and miniature lawns in the middle of the highway. Can you imagine how many millions
I-
of dollars that is?
you'll be happy to know that you now have somebody working alongside of you all the way in Ponce Inlet that sent me pictures of the palm trees that were, well, they were hanging down a little bit. And now they've got 3 branches up, which is horrible.
No shade.
Horrible for the health of the palm tree. And said, let's completely stop it. And so I sent it to everybody I needed to in the county. I said, you know what, this guy is right. We're not helping the palm tree. They're actually self-shedding. Some people don't like the fact that the brown, but we can pick those up a lot cheaper than we can go and I said, let's eliminate the funding for this. Stop trimming up the palm trees to this ridiculous level.
Thank you.
And they haven't answered me yet.
They feed bats and
Yeah.
other valuable wildlife.
They do, and roaches,
And they can,
Yes, sir.
the state dogs.
and rats.
But it's a necessary part of our
I used to cut. Yes, sir.
Are you gonna come out with a Jeff Brower, voting list for team players on the Brower B team?
Probably not exactly that way, because
Well, what way you gonna do
you might not know this, but everybody in Volusia County is not on the Jeff Brower bandwagon. Most of them are because of the way that I started this meeting, and as long, you're gonna get some charter amendments besides this one, I hope, to vote on this November. One of them is to eliminate my position. It won't affect me, because it won't go into effect until, I'm already term limited out. I'll be gone. I'll be back on the farm. But they want to get rid of the county chair and allow the county council to elect their own chair each time, because they know they've had great success in controlling the majority of the council, but they didn't control me. They hate that I started the meeting the way that I did here. And so they just want to eliminate any chair that they possibly, they spent $500,000 to get rid of me, and y'all said no. We want them to come back. Well, some of you.
Many of us. Most.
Yes, sir.
So who's on the hit list? Do you have any suggestions?
Who's on the hit list?
Yeah, I wanna know who on the council, my opinion is most of them gotta go but man. I mean, that's my opinion.
Yeah, and Matt's not up for reelection. The only one's up for the at-large, the countywide candidate, Jake Johansson, is running for the state senate, so he wants a promotion. In that seat, there's somebody that I like a lot because I know him well, Mike Poniatowski.
Hold on.
You'll probably never remember that name, so just remember Mike P. And all the names are in alphabetical order. He's with us on a lot of these issues. He's with us on this, although Greg complains a lot that he hasn't turned in a single petition. Has he?
I have a different question.
Okay. So let me finish this. So the at-large is up for reelection, and then Danny Robbins is New Smyrna, Osteen, Southwest Volusia County. He's up, and then David Santiago is Deltona. They all have.
No shows.
Say that again.
No shows.
No show?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. All of them have opponents. Here's my advice on voting, because I've been through this 3 times now in running in a campaign. It's really frustrating. You campaign hard, you try and reach anybody, and then you go to early voting and the voting polls, and you know how people vote? They didn't hear a darn thing I said the whole time. They don't know how great my ideas were. They walk in with a voting guide, and they vote according to whoever is on that voting guide. They don't know a damn thing about them, except the Republican Party said these are the guys, and the Democrat Party says these are the guys and the gals, and the Libertarians have anything?
Yeah.
We got Joe Hanush. Joe Hanush just tells us who to vote for. I would vote for Joe if I had the opportunity, ahead of a lot of the people on either one of those guys. Stop voting by a voter guide unless you do some research on those people. Find out who they are. Talk to their husbands or their wives. Talk to their kids. They'll actually tell you the truth. Don't ask Kat about me. She hates me.
That is still not true. I supported you on your last campaign. This
Okay.
man worked for your opponent.
All right, I'm not asking you for go down your diatribe, but do some research. Find out. It takes a little bit more, but this is your country. This is your county. This is your city. We can't. It is such a it's a sacred privilege to vote for somebody else. Do some research on it and know who it is, or we're going to get the same thing that we get every election cycle. Because everybody the last time said, I'm for responsible growth. And now we know what that means. The responsible vote for me is to do what my donors said, and my donors were all developers, and so that's what I'm approving. Greg Gimbert.
I want to ask you something about the dang trolley before I forget it. There's some people here that already alluded to it. Back when they first took the cars off the beach from the boardwalk, there was supposed to be a trolley for the boardwalk area. I don't remember if it was the city or the county was supposed to pay for it or a partnership, but in less than 5 years it vanished. Match that with maybe where that money was supposed to come from, it could come from again. Match that with the bus that's already going up and down A1A, like Miss Ruby said, repurpose an old bus. Bump that, repurpose the bus we got. If it's already running up and down A1A half empty, just cancel the fares on A1A, and you've implemented the program and you don't even need a new bus.
Do you like it,
Think
Ann?
about that.
Do you like it?
Well, I like anything that would get us people moving every 20 minutes from Granada to Dunlawton in a loop to Beach Street.
It's the quickest way from here to a trolley service, respectfully submitted.
Okay,
Please go back to sewage water.
I like that. John, do you like the trolley? You remember the trolley?
Absolutely, I remember both trolleys. At the county council meeting, the comment was made about getting rid of all the buses on beachside, no more buses on beachside. Secondly, the idea that,
No more of the big buses.
the big buses are gone, you have to call in to rent a bus.
No, there's still some.
No, in the future, you wanna get rid of them.
Where's the question?
That's, so what, that was your idea of going with the buses. And the bus system, the Motran, ran our trolley the last time,
Right.
so it came up.
Is there a question in there?
Yes. When you started, you wanted to do a, advertisement at the beach approaches to make money, all right? Pay for the, beach and whatnot. Where is that?
Not just the beach approach, that's how I started it, and then the more I thought about it, I said, what other assets does the county own that we could rename? The Ocean Center. I brought it to the council, they shot it down. Afterwards, the county manager called me into his office and he said, I like it. I like the idea. In fact, I can visualize, I shouldn't say this because everybody's recording. George he'll be tickled. It was a joke, but he made a really good point. The Marine Discovery Center in Ponce Inlet, he said, I could see that being named the Exxon Marine Center. Because they were hated at the time, Exxon was, because of the spill but his point was large corporations who need to get the public to like them would invest in all of that. And so I brought it back to the council and they approved. Ben Johnson squashed it the first time. And so I said, okay, I'll bring it back after budget season, after we can't pay for it, after we can't do anything, and it puts it off another year, but I'm not just gonna drop it. I brought it back, and everybody in the community, including you, liked the idea. You spoke on it, and so they all approved it. It went to purchasing, and I just asked them about it. We got one thing out of it so far. We've got, at the Ocean Center, the people that provide soft drinks, I forget if it's Coke or Pepsi, but one of them is paying us a bunch of money. I had an attorney, a friend of Greg's actually, Josh Wagner, called me and he says, I will pay to put my law firm on the beach approach at the, wherever he is. Is he in Ponce Inlet or in?
Wilbur, I think.
He's, we've become good friends now that he's off the council. I'm surprised that he talks to me, but he's got a fabulous family. And I asked him, I said, how's that going? He says, nobody's called me. So now I got to go back and say, please call Josh. He's willing to pay for a beach approach to be whatever the name of his law firm is.
Lawyer
Dude.
Who?
Lawyer dude.
Lawyer dude?
Big building downtown, Yvonne.
Have you seen his kids? He's got the coolest kids in the world. They are such nice homeschooled kids. So it's not dead. And what irritates me is that, I don't know if you remember, John will remember because he's at every meeting. Kat might remember when it came up. We spent $80,000. We put an RFP out. I just thought, we'll start calling people. Start with the Speedway and say, do you want to name East International Speedway Drive something to do with the Speedway? And I thought we would do it in-house. We can't do anything in-house like that, apparently. So we spent $87,000 on a firm, put out an RFP, got one bid back, and we do this all over the country. We'll do it here. We've got Pepsi. Now, what about the Ocean Center? What could we name that? I mean, anything that we have, the courthouse annex, all of those things could be renamed. The Ocean Center is probably the most likely place to start. How many athletic things around the country? They're all. So it's hard to remember their names now because they're all IKEA or God knows what. So it's not dead. Why don't you mention it the next time you're there? John's been known to come to a county council meeting. Does he ever go to a city meeting? All right, who is next? He wants me to talk about sewage water again. Go ahead, Amy.
My question is, and anybody wants to ask a question into the mic, I can come find you. My question is, we have First Step Shelter, and the county has participated in that.
You have what?
There is the First Step Shelter.
Oh, yes.
To help homeless people. But they have a pretty high bar for entry and success. So,
Yes.
and I think I know what the answer is gonna be. Is there any interest in working with the cities to try and do a come as you are shelter?
Yes.
Okay. So then what
Talked
do you?
about it today with
Okay.
staff.
Okay.
And there is.
The next question is, why don't we have a city-county parking authority in the core beachside area? That was talked about in 2018. I don't know why it has never happened, but we have parking in the Main Street area that's always an issue, and it's always conflict between the city and the county. That board that we convened, you remember in 2018? That was one of their key recommendations, a city-county parking authority to govern those lots. Why don't we have that?
Did any of those things in 2018 get acted on?
No.
Well, let's start with that one.
Okay, parking authority for just Main Street or
The
anywhere?
core tourist area.
Or like an app or something.
I have a friend that owns a microbrewery on Main Street.
Yes.
And he had a meeting there of beach people, Sons of the Beach. And I was late because I could not find parking. And he lectured me that there is more parking that we need around Main Street. And I said, where? You gotta show it to me, because
Can't find them.
you can't find
The
them.
city's talking about
We need
signs.
So-
sharing and an app.
We need what?
Sharing and an app. Vast acreage at the Ocean Center parking lot when it's not being used, it's just vast.
Until a special event.
Until a
Yeah,
special event.
there's acres
So
there.
we need an app that is like,
What about the owner of Main Street, the Main Street bar, down by
station?
Main Street Station, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. She'll hate me now.
No.
I love the owner. She's
Phaedra.
Phaedra's a wonderful lady.
Because
I walked, during both campaigns, I walked Main Street, went to every business, and they would form a parade. The owner would walk with me to the next business, and they would all tell me what we needed. Phaedra's the only one that mentioned parking, and she said when we got down, I think it's the lot that you wanted to buy, maybe you did, behind or south of the Ocean Center, there's one lot there. She said, I want to put a 5-story parking garage there. The rest of them hated it. They didn't want it there. Why? Is that a city lot? I don't know the intersection.
I'm not sure,
Okay.
without looking at a map.
West of the.
So
But
you-
I'll talk with you
You've
about
learned to
Main
not
Street
speak
off
before you
camera.
know. I never learned that.
You did?
I just speak.
That was a
So-
long time coming.
Pardon?
That was a long time coming.
This is about Jeff, not me.
So what do you think about that? Parking on what would a parking authority do besides siphon off more tax money?
Well, I think what the parking authority would do is just to get the city and the county collaborating on sharing spaces. Because right now you have the county owns a lot of vast lots that are just not really utilized well. They own parking lot C, which fronts
Okay.
on Main Street. That's never been paved or striped. It's free right now, but it doesn't look like anything.
Yeah.
I think a parking authority, it really doesn't need to cost anything. It would just be a way for the city and the county to collaborate on getting better use out of the space that's there. And it should never,
Okay.
parking on Main Street should never be discussed without discussing a trolley and other ways of moving people.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. I have my marching order. How about we start it tonight, and I will speak with Monica, and will you still talk to me? And we can, because I'll work with them. Monica is such a breath of fresh air on the city council. At least she tells the truth. And so I will talk to you two about it and see how we can, what you need me to do at the county level. And maybe we can have a little sit down. Do you still have a city manager?
Yes.
Same one?
Same one.
Voted last night. 3 years.
You voted?
Yep.
What was the vote?
Last night.
3-4.
PH
4-3.
4, REC 3,
What's REC?
Republican Executive Committee.
So he survived.
He did
For how long?
3 years.
3 years.
I like him. I don't know how he conducts business. I've met with him numerous times. He's a stand-up guy. Like me, he's probably not perfect. So I'm glad to hear that. Maybe this crowd's 4-3 too. I don't know, but Will he talk to us about it? If we can get a meeting with Mr. Fiatcher and Mr. Rechtenwald and the three of us, would y'all do it?
We can't go in.
Oh, you can't go in together. Well, which one of you is better? Okay, well, I'll start it.
Okay, that would be great. We have, Sandy had a question?
No, I just wanted to clarify that a parking authority can issue bonds so that the cost of any
Oh.
parking improvements doesn't come from the taxpayers.
Oh, we learned something, thank you. That's great. And then Lauren had a question,
Yes.
and Kat has a question.
So I've had friends come for a visit recently, like for the events, like the, spring break. And when they're going through our beach area, it doesn't flow. So, like you maybe don't know where parking is, but one of us knows the back roads and we know where to park. So that when I
Yeah.
go to Beach Street, I know where to park, I never have trouble.
Me
There's
neither.
parking everywhere. But if you're somebody traveling in, and say you came from.
And you don't know the area.
Or you came from Port Orange, you just don't know what to do. So there's a little bit of disconnect in the flowing of the city, so that somebody who came here for a visit doesn't just go right up to where they wanna go and look left and right and say, oh, that's where I'm gonna park, when there's a lot of options. So a lot of the places, when I go places in other cities, and I don't know where I'm going, they have apps. And then you just hook it into your phone or in your car that you're renting, and they tell you where parking is available. You don't have to drive around and around and look for a space. So I'm sure we can figure something out to put where the parking is on Beach Street, Main Street, Seabreeze. And you can park in the parking lots on the beach, right? It's free for everybody.
Locals, Volusia County residents, it's free.
It's never, it's
But
absolutely
half the
never
time, the
full.
tide's too high.
No, I'm saying in the parking lot.
Oh.
They always-
That parking lot across the street from the boardwalk is usually empty.
Yeah,
A lot of it is $20 a day.
That the Ocean Deck bought, right? Didn't Ocean Deck buy a lot of the parking?
Other side of A1A, in the neighborhood.
Well, I'm surprised that didn't come up with the trolley, because it's come up to me that why don't we use all the parking around the courthouse annex and have the trolley go over there, pick people up, and take them up and down A1A, but, okay, we need to investigate it more.
Sue, did you have a question? No? It was answered, okay. So, Kat?
Yeah, that's, why don't you write it? Actually, I have a friend who does software, and right now, he's got software, it's called Rideshare, and, he has some parking on it. I'm gonna ask him about it. He's trying to monetize it. I took it to the county, and, Votran said, well, we're already working on that. It's not out yet, but, so I was kinda disappointed, because I would rather have the private sector do it.
Okay, so we have two questions left. We have Vern and then Kat had a question. So Vern?
You know, the problem with having parking, whether it's free or whatever, most people don't wanna walk. You know, they won't do it. You know, we tried in Winter Park having different, and, they just don't wanna, they wanna be right next to wherever they're going.
Yeah, we're spoiled.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it, and that's the biggest problem.
That's where a trolley comes in and can drop you at the front door.
Jenny, is your head splitting open?
Okay.
It's like, this place is so beautiful, I can't understand why people wouldn't enjoy walking, it's free exercise, and it's like.
Well, August 29th, it's 98 degrees.
I gotta move here before, man. It's all right. That trees fix everything.
Okay,
They do. Kat?
Kat, last question.
Okay. Before I even get into my question, I can read that, I'm loud anyways. Got a voice carries. Job description.
Are you filming you or me?
I'm filming everything. So, just, I'm gonna clarify, I'm gonna get into my question, clarify one thing. I don't hate you, Jeff. Disagreeing with somebody does not equate to hatred. So, anyways,
I don't hate you either.
as you know, because that our springs have highest levels, some of the highest levels in the state of PFAS testing. They were tested in 2024, and they're some of the highest in the state. We're not taking care of the PFAS. Now, it's mandated federally, they're gonna have to in so many years.
Yep.
That is what we should be focusing on. Instead of waiting on the federal government, why are we not focusing on trying to remove the PFAS now? There's two ways to remove them, activated carbon and reverse osmosis. Both of them have environmental consequences. Everything has an environmental consequences, but the point is to get the chemicals out of the water that are poisoning us right now.
So
Right
that's,
now. The other thing we
is that,
can do, you're not.
is this a four-part question?
Well, and there it is, that we are spraying, our county and our cities can eliminate the use of glyphosate and other dangerous chemicals that have been proven to cause cancer. Bayer has already been sued, billions of dollars. There's several more lawsuits right behind it right now that are not even settled. Monsanto settled before Bayer even bought them out. But we're not doing anything to eliminate the pollutants that are going into the ground right now, poisoning our water. But we're worried about something that's not even on the charts in our county or cities at this time.
That's not true.
It is.
That's
It is.
blatantly false, and it's wrong for you to tell these people that.
It's wrong for you to tell
Like
them
four
that.
people on the county council that say, it's not here, it's not coming, Jeff's talking about hocus pocus, it's not here, it's all around us, and Deltona wants to put it in our aquifer, Kissimmee has it, Tampa's put it in the aquifer. You're asking stupid questions that you know the answers to because you just want to create a problem here.
Let's calm down, please.
I'm telling you the truth here. It is all around us, and it's going into our aquifer. South Florida, it's so bad they can't even use it anymore, and we need to stop it here. You would rather drink cleaned up sewage water more because you hate Greg Gimbert more than you hate drinking cleaned up sewage water. And that's the truth.
I'm trying to inform people.
You're not trying to.
Water right now. You're worried about.
We are. I've already got the county.
Guys.
I've already got the county utilities director,
Guys.
Michael Ulrich,
Guys.
working on PFAS in our water, and you will hear about that. It's
Guys.
incredibly expensive, and we'll deal with it.
Jack,
I don't know how we're going to do it with no money when property taxes go away.
Does not inject brine into the aquifer? Does
Guys.
not
Yes,
inject
it-
brine-
Okay, stop. Just stop. You guys clearly have different points of view, and that's great, because that's what drives good discussion. But just shouting at each other isn't going to move anything forward. So I'm gonna ask you guys to agree to disagree on this
Father Phil
one.
wants to come and pray for me.
Father,
Hug everybody.
And I need it.
no, Father, I wanna thank you, Jeff, for your presentation. Thank you for your presence, and I hope everything goes well and work for the trolley. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And I'd be happy
Give it up.
to- I might have turned it off.
Jeff, thank you again for being here. Appreciate all you do. I do have a question for you. I saw your toilet to tap petition. It's kind of primitive. Can we do it, can you do it online?
No, the supervisor, you can print it out online, and then you have to mail it in. The supervisor election has to verify each one, and she won't do an electronic copy. It's against the law. She has to have a real piece of paper. So we've got to deliver these 1,000, we're delivering 1,000 at a time.
Okay.
But you can go, what's the web address? He can print out
Well, we can print them, but I mean, I was just curious if it could be a way to do it, you know, you click it right to your center, whatever.
that would be very 21st century, but we don't do that.
Okay, thank you.
Good question. Is there, well, I want it on the 2026 ballot, so time is short now. What would the deadline be for that?
If we want to vote in November, we better get them in by August. If we go past August, we won't vote until 2028. The important thing is to get the signatures and get ballot qualified, 26 or 28. So you're trying to beat the clock of the legislature outlawing us doing this. Don't race an election, you're racing your own state reps. The answer is tomorrow. Get them tomorrow.
And also the realization is that you can sign this without, you can vote no after you sign it, it's just to get it on the ballot.
That's correct.
So that's something to consider.
Right,
So, all right,
thank you.
thank you guys very much. Did you say what you needed to say? Okay, Greg, did you say what you needed to say?
I just want to thank them if you let me.
Okay, well, okay, very briefly, please, thank you.
So, hey, my name's Greg. I started Let Volusia Vote. I'm the nitpicker behind the petition you have in your hand. It's not the first petition I've done. It's not the first water thing I've done. You may remember about 10 years ago, there was a big fracking craze going on. I wrote the fracking ban in Volusia County, got it passed at the Soil and Water Board level, and 2 weeks later by the county council level. So this is not my first foray into water. This is not my first charter amendment petition. But what I'm asking you to do is get a vote for yourself. I don't care who you vote for this election, next election. I just want you to sign that petition and get a vote for yourself. And then we can have this grand argument about whether we want to drink sewage water or not to grow past the clean water line. Thank you so much for considering the issue. There's an address at the bottom of the petition. Go to letvolusiavote.com. It'll bounce you to a Facebook page. You print the petition there, fill it out, and mail it to the P.O. box at the bottom. You have to mail in original signatures, and thank you for considering the issue tonight.
Thank you, okay. And thank you
My name's Greg
everyone
Gilbert.
for
Last name
coming
on the petition.
and expressing your views, no matter how hotly contested. We're all happy to have you here. And our next, I'm gonna read the lineup for our next guests. We have, in June, we're gonna have Derek Pietro, City Manager. July, Lisa Lewis, Supervisor of Elections. August is going to be the candidates for the City Commission. So far, Monica Paris and Steve Miller have accepted. We've not heard back from John Navarro or Quinita May. And then we have Tor Gentoli, who is from the SMA Healthcare, which will be a great speaker in September. So thank you all for coming. Thank you for participating. We don't need to do anything with the tables and chairs tonight, and we look forward to seeing you on June 4th. Thank you.